I'd like to remind you. Okay, one more time then. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you that you can register for Studio Web at cloud.uipath.com. And additionally, we also have a demo application available for you to use during this session. These are optional, but doing so would allow you to recreate the demo. I will present briefly the Studio UiPath product suite and our newest member, Studio Web. And finally, we will end the presentation with a live demo on how you can use UiPath Studio to automate the expense reports task. And this will give you a hands-on understanding of how the product can be used in a real-world scenario. Studio Web is the newest addition to the UiPath Studio product line, and it's a browser-based IDE that allows for the creation of cross-platform automation across online apps and services, with support for API and web-based UI automations. It is fully compatible with Studio X and Studio, creating a seamless experience for users. So once familiar with Studio Web, users can move on to Studio X, which supports automation of native desktop applications and advanced Excel integrations. Users also have the option to advance to Studio, which offers additional capabilities such as test automation, flowchart designer, advanced debugging, desktop triggers, and many more. So why Studio Web? Studio Web provides an easy and quick way to start automating, as it does not require installation and is not dependent on IT. It is designed to automate across business apps and services without the need for prior programming knowledge. Also, being a cloud-based product, it is always up to date with new features added continuously. It is also built for collaboration with support for sharing, templates, and connections. And additionally, Studio Web enhances existing deployments by supporting citizen developer programs and providing new troubleshooting capabilities for RPA developers and Center of Excellence. And to ensure all customers can take advantage of these capabilities, Studio Web is included in our existing developer licenses. So what are the key benefits? I will not go into detail on this slide, as I have previously discussed most of the benefits, but I would like to highlight that Studio Web can be used as the entry point for automating cross-platform projects using AI through document understanding, API automation, event triggers with integration service, and web UI using UI automation. And now we are here for the fun part. We are ready to start our demo. So I shared this landing page with you before this session. What is this doing? It's gonna register you to a demo application that can be used as a expense report platform tool. You can even register now if you haven't, or you can join later and do it on your own. I will try to move at a slow pace so you can follow and do the same as I am doing. So in this, I will provide my first name, last name, and email. And while I hit the submit button, this is gonna trigger your UiPath automation that it's creating and registering the user on my behalf on the expense report platform, and will also send me an email with the sample invoice that we can use for this exercise. Yeah. Let's wait a few more seconds to get the registration link and the credentials. And while this loads, let's navigate to Studio Web. To reach Studio Web, you can create an account on cloud.uipath.com and navigate here on the left side on Studio. Just to create a project, it's easy. Let's call it Dev Dives Session 1 demo. And by doing this, it will create a new project for me. Let's return. Okay, so my account was created and we are ready to navigate to the expense platform. We can also check for the confirmation email. Okay, let's see. You should, if you registered, you should have received an email similar to this one, where you will find the username, the password, and a sample invoice. The sample invoice is the one we will be using for the expense report. Okay, now that we are ready to start the automation, we in Studio Web, similarly to Studio Desktop, you can add activities which are logical actions. To do that, you can hit the plus section and it will open the command palette where you will retrieve emails. In our case, I will look for the newest email and I'm using the Gmail activities, as I have used my personal email for this demo. Once the activity is added, I need to provide the credentials to it. For the credential and for the authentication, Studio Web is built on integration service, which allows you to provide access with one click to the services directly. So once I gave access to UiPath, to Studio Web through my credential, I am ready to use the activity. In my case, I'm gonna look into the inbox folder and add an additional filter for the subject. Subject to contain, let's see. Subject should be UiPath Dev Dive Session 1. Save. Okay. And next, after we are retrieving the newest email, we need to download the attachment. To do that, we will use the dedicated download email attachments. And now you can see in Studio Web, we have this nice functionality where you can select use variable and you will be able to use the output of the previously added activities. In our case, we will reuse the retrieved email. And now, since we got the attachment with the invoice, we need to extract the data from it. In our case, we have information like the issue date, the total, and items that needs to be expensed in the report. So we are using the expense document data activity, which is leveraging document understanding and comes with a predefined set of models, but you can even create your own. In our case, we will go with the invoice extractor. And for the input file, we will use the download attachment list. The list means this activity returns a list of attachments, but Studio Web identifies this and places a for each automatically for us. So you don't have to think about loops and about using using kind of programming. You can just add activities and they will do the work for you, basically. And next, let's add a log message. It's the same activity you're familiar from desktop, and we will try to output the total from the extracted document. And we are ready to run. Let's run this one time to see if we have access to the email and if we can download the attachment, extract the data. You might have noticed that all I needed was just to press the run button. There is no need for installation. There is no need for a robot. The execution is happening on serverless robots, and serverless robots are hosted by UiPath in our cloud, updated by us, maintained by us, so you don't have to worry about anything. And while I was talking, you can see that my information got extracted from the invoice, and we got the $66 as a total. Next, we need to open the expense report application. To do that, we will use the UI automation activities, which are similar with the ones in desktop, but have been simplified and optimized to work with browser automations that are also cross-platform. So that means you can build it on a Mac and run it on Windows, or the other way around. First activity we need, it's the use browser, and we need to indicate one tab that we want to automate. In our case, is this login. You can see the focus is moved for confirmation. You also get the screenshot as a helper. And next, we can use the type into activity, which has the familiar indicate element. And now my focus is moved to the target application, and I can select the targeted element. We will indicate the login field, and next we need to do the password. Okay, password, confirm. As you know, it's not best practice to hard code username and passwords in an automation. So for this,
Alex,
yep.
Sorry to interrupt you. Let's slow down a bit.
Yep.
For the ones who joined the exercise to actually follow it, just a bit.
Yeah, I will scroll a little bit so you can see an overview of the image or of the automation. One thing that I should have mentioned is if you don't use Gmail, you have an alternative like get newest email from Office 365. So basically, we're covering all the major providers of email inboxes, and you will find the same activity called Get Newest Email, but only it works with O365, and the same with download email attachments. Next, the use browser is going to be the same, and the extract document data, it will be similar, regardless of your source of the invoice. Okay, so as I said, we need to input the username and the password for our application. Best practice is to use credentials, and to do that, you can navigate in Orchestrator and create a new asset. In my case, I already created it, and I have my username, but I need to update. Here it is. I need to update my password. I know it was plain text, you could have seen it, but I trust you. Okay, and next, to retrieve that value, we have the get credential activity that is the same as the one in desktop, with one addition that now it has this nice drop-down where you can select the name of the asset without having to type it and to make sure that that is correct. And now for the username, we will use the use variable again and locate the get credential and the username. Next, we need to input the password. In our case, the input should be secure because it's a password and we have it stored as a secure credential. And let's use the password now. Once we have provided username and password, we should click on the sign in button. No, actually, it's called login button. Okay, now that we have created the steps for logging in, let's also do it here. This application that I shared with you, it has the expense report section under HRM. So next step for our automation, let's minimize this a little bit so you get to see an overview. Next step would be to navigate to the HRM section. Yeah. For your automation, you have the familiar selection screen where you can also edit variables, change your selector, switch from fuzzy to full selector, depending on your needs. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to place this for each inside the use browser scope. So what this means that after I am logging into the application, navigating to HRM, for each attachment, we're going to do the following actions. And the following actions will be click, click, click. Oh, sorry. Now I should have also clicked this one to be in the state that the robot would find. So if you press escape, you will return. So in my case, I am back and I am indicating the new, and let's confirm. You also have support for editing targets, so you can validate that your previous selection was good enough. Just for making sure the selector is working well, I will also add this this anchor for expense reports, because as you can see, there's another new button under leave. You also have support for validation, and we got a 100% validation score. So now after we press the new expense report, we need to start filling the expense report information. So we will add another type into and indicate the start date of the report. You can see it's found the anchor automatically. And for the value, we will use the extract document data and look for date. So we have a field called date. Let's do it again for the end date. Confirm. Yeah, let's take another look on our expense. So we have only a issue date and the due date, which are the same. So we should use the same date field from the invoice. Okay, so we created a new expense. We typed the start date, the end date, and next we need to click on the create expense report. And let's see it in action. We can do the following. We can add a breakpoint because Studio also has support for troubleshooting with features like breakpoints and watch panel, which is a panel where you can see the values of your variables, but I will not go into that deep right now. Okay, that's interesting. This happens when you run live demos, but we'll try one more time. Okay. Let's give it one more try. So for the ones who didn't manage to have all the steps in the automation, after you log in to your application, we will extract the document and start typing them in the expense report. Okay, I don't know what these errors are about, honestly, but okay. Let me do a refresh. I think this session is so popular that we crashed our our studio web, but no worries, we'll try one more time. If not, I have my backup project, and we can give it another try. Okay, so let's try to run. Okay, this is not working now. Okay, let's check this one. While it loads. Okay, so this is doing the same steps. It's downloading the expense report, it's getting the credential, the same expense report credentials, and then it's gonna type the username, the password, the login, and then it will navigate to the section and type the end date. So let's place a breakpoint on the same step we should have been, and run to here to see if this is working right now. On the one important thing to notice, it's on the right hand side in this panel. Okay, let's see what's the error. Okay, this is because I changed the connection and I need to provide it one more time in here. Okay, save. The condition should be the same. The subject should contain UiPath Dev Dives. Okay, and next we will use the registration email and extract the attachments. And with the attachments, we're gonna look through all of them. Okay, let's give it another try. Yeah, you got to actually to see more dev diving than I was hoping for. You get to see also how you troubleshoot a process that is not working. And here on the right hand side, something new brought in Studio Web. It's this window, which is basically live streaming what the robot is doing. And you will get to see a live session, basically with the robot in action anytime soon. Let's hope this time it's gonna run without issues. Yeah. Okay, so execution started. You can see the green tickers, what activities got executed. And yeah, as you can see, let me expand this a little bit so it zooms out, zooms in. Okay, I think Zoom is blocking this. But you can see the expense report was selected, start date, end date, and we have the option to run step by step. And next would click a new expense report. What should we do now? Let me stop this, and we can continue adding the following steps. What important one important step would be to mention that the date we are getting from document understanding needs to be formatted in the proper format, as my is my automation, not my automation, it's my application, the expense report application is waiting for. Okay, next. After we create the expense report, yeah, we need to let's go in here and to understand the application. You need to provide the date of the expense, the type of the expense, the description, the tax, and the price. So the steps would be to add a typing tool with the type. In our case, we will be expensing a meal, an employee's meal. So all you need is to type meal and send the enter key. Then to add the description, for the description, this one. For the description, what are we doing here? We are just typing the invoice number for reference. Then you have the select activity, which allows you to select from a dropdown. This will bring all the possible values. In case of my invoice, it's a New York state created invoice, and it will be with 875. Then the net amount of the price. The net amount of the price can be found on the net amount. Net can be find under document understanding. And then you will need to add the expense. This would be done similarly with the add button, which is in here, and you can see it's valid and it's working properly. Afterwards, you will need to click the validate and submit for approval, and also to confirm the window, the validate expense report. And as a last and final step, I have created this log message with expense report created successfully. So let's see. We should delete these drafts just for letting the robot to create from from scratch a new report, and we can run it one more time and maybe to see it in action. Yeah, let's see. This is compiling one more time, and now the execution, it's gonna start at any moment. Okay. We also have the capability to watch the robot in full screen. And once I am moving into this view, we get to see what the robot is executing. And we had a breakpoint left, so we can even execute step by step. And as I promised, we also have the watch panel where you get to see the values of your variable. Let's see the invoice number. Okay, this is not available yet, but what can we see in here? We can see the username maybe. Okay, yeah, this is Alex Roman. And yeah, let's see the next steps, but actually let's continue the automation and let it run until we hit this this breakpoint. And we can go into the full screen. We can see our report got created. We have the full amount, $61 with the proper tax and the employee's meal, and all the details are in here. I think that was most of my demo. We are here for questions. I think Christina will take it from here. I hope you got to create the workflow and you were luckier than I am. But anyway, I will share the functional one with you guys.
There were definitely a lot of questions in the chat. I think some are still incoming. And thank you very much, Magda, Raluca, Mircea, for taking care of the chat. And some of our UiPath MVPs. I noticed we have some of them. We appreciate all the help. We will shortly move to the Q&A, but till then, just for my colleague to share the download link for the expense report automation in the chat. And of course, again, the link to the series for our future sessions. We have 3 upcoming sessions and we will continue publishing. This series will take until the end of the year, so it will go throughout 2023, going through the whole platform. And these are the 3 ones we have upcoming. You can see February 23rd, March 30, April 27. So the next one will be on apps, unlock automation adoption with UiPath apps. I will let my colleagues just share. I see we have the links now in the chat. And I think we also have the link to ready to use automation for the expense report. So please pick up the links from the chat. They will also be available in the event link text. You will receive the wrapped up event link and all the materials, the deck and the recording tomorrow. And if you want to go back to the full info, go to the event link and you will have in the event descriptions all the materials needed, the setup steps, so you can go through the session again. And if you didn't manage to keep the pace today. We know it was a bit fast, but this is what happens when we have so many people in the session. Not everybody has the same pace, so we apologize for that. And now I invite you to unmute yourselves and we will move into the Q&A and we'll see what questions you still have left for Alex. I will just check that you are able to unmute. Let's see. Yes. So please, let's see who has a question for Alex. Who wants to start?
Hello, Alex. I have a question. This is Roland Varga. Obviously, document understanding is the bread and butter here. Is there anything that you can show us real quick of how that is set up? And I do not have any knowledge on document understanding. So just a quick overview or a quick little demo that you can quickly show. That'd be great.
Yeah, we can do that. I can talk a little bit about it. It comes up with, yeah, let me share the screen again, Google Chrome. Okay, so let's start with a new project. New project. And for document understanding, we have the extract document understanding, which basically takes as an input any document you have, and it will work with some out-of-the-box templates, like we have the predefined project, and this is available for everybody. And you have multiple extractors. You have invoices, different type of invoices based on localization, for example, for Japanese, for Chinese, but you also have support for receipts, utility bills, IDs, and so on. But what's the most important, on top of that, we have this document understanding section where you can define your own, and you can train and you can define your own extractors. So let's say you have a set of custom invoices in your company. You can bring 20 of them, label it yourself. You have support for labeling them, and then you can train the model with it and use it as a out-of-the-box model.
Perfect. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. Alex, I think you should keep the share screen because perhaps you might need to show some other stuff. Who would like to ask Alex next?
Hey, hi, Imran here.
Hello, Imran.
Actually, yeah, hi. I'm trying to launch the. I've tried to create a project, okay, on the Studio Web, but it's still launching. I don't know whether I'm the only one facing this issue. It's common. It's more than 10 minutes, almost 15 minutes now. The project is not created. It's still loading.
Okay, so did you navigate to the studio section and created
Right.
the new project?
Yes, yes.
It's something we need to take with our development team and we can investigate, because as you have seen, this is a new project that I'm sharing right now. So I was, it was working for me, but
Okay, can you quickly try to create one more new project? I just want to
sure,
see whether how much time it takes for you.
sure.
Yeah,
Demo for Imran.
okay. So I tried the same. I tried the same steps. Okay.
You see, now it got created, and let's, I don't know, add a get email or something.
Okay.
So
Got it.
it's loading, it's downloading the activity package, and after installing the package, it's gonna show up the activity. And
Okay.
here,
Does it try to connect to the UiPath server, the studio, web studio?
oh, not sure I can
Because
follow
I
that.
think this can be a firewall issue in my laptop. I got it. I will try
Okay,
it in a different laptop.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Imran. Who would like to ask next? Just remember.
Hi, Alex. This is Varshini. So I have a question. Yeah, since we're using a Studio Web, right? So I'm building a project, and before saving the project, I'm having some network issue, and the network gets interrupted. In that case, whatever I have done will get lost, or is there any auto saving mechanism for every 5 minutes?
It's more than that. It's, I think, 20 or 30 seconds. So it's auto saves continuously after you do changes. And in case you lose connectivity, we will show a banner letting you know that you've lost connectivity. And once it recovers, we will save it again for you. And we will place it in a read-only mode so you don't do more changes. So just to make sure you won't break it too much after that.
Yeah, understood, Alex. And I have another question. So you told that for document understanding, we have extract document data activity, right? In
Yep.
Studio, we have for document understanding, taxonomy manager, load taxonomy, digital extraction, and steps, right? So everything is replaced by single extract document data. Am I right?
Yep, that's our first activity available in cross-platform and in Studio Web. But our document understanding team, it's working to streamline the desktop experience and make them also available in the cloud version. So this was our first one, but more to come, like validation station integration and so on.
Yeah, understood, Alex. Thanks for your help. Yeah.
Of course.
Hello.
Hi, myself Anandavali. I would like to ask, in the studio, do you have all the activities, whichever is there in the, in the web? Do you have all the activities which is there in the studio as well, or is it upcoming? So there will be limitation in web studio.
So if you're familiar with Studio, you know that I think 2 years ago, we introduced the concept of compatibility, where you select the target where your automation is going to run, and it can be Windows or cross-platform. Studio Web works with cross-platform projects, so it needs to run in a browser to be able to run on a Linux box and so on. So any activity that is cross-platform and it's available in Studio Desktop, it is or it will be available in Studio Web also.
So
and the other way around. Sorry,
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How do you install the dependency packages here? There we have, we can install packages, right? So how do you install here?
You don't need to install them manually, because once you hit this plus button, you get to see all the activities that are available. So let's say I want to use this Dropbox copy file activity. You can see the message that the package it's installed, and after it's installed, it will load the activity automatically. So you don't have to remember or to know the package. You just need to search for activity you're looking for, and it's gonna be installed automatically.
So whatever packages it is available in the studio will be available as a one click here. That is what you meant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to do some curation, but short answer is yes.
Thank you, Alexander.
Of course.
Alex, one question. Thank you first for the demo. Can we connect this to any source control?
Not for now. For now, the automation is going to be stored in our cloud. We have support for collaboration, like sharing the project, have multiple people under the same organization to work on the same project. But for now, you don't have support for external source controls.
Understood. And then in terms of exporting it to work on it on a Studio desktop, can you show us that?
I can, but I will need to stop the screen and open a different one. But give me a second.
Thank you.
Sure. While I'll prepare my setup, I can take the next question and just let you know once it's ready.
I see David has some questions in the chat. I don't know whether he would like to unmute to ask himself. David?
Yeah, sure, I can. So I was wondering, my understanding was that Studio Web is actually working with API automations, preferably. I would like to understand how it's actually working with this type into activities. Is it just using Chromium API then for the type into activities?
It's using our extension, and it's based also on Chromium API. Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, perfect. If I may ask a second question.
Sure.
I would be interested, you said in the beginning that it's working with serverless robots, essentially. I would be interested how that works from a license perspective.
For the license, so Studio Web, it's included in the automation developer or in the citizen developer licenses. So if you have Studio or Studio X, you will also get Studio Web. This gives you access to some time to run automations while you build them and you develop them in Studio. And then if you want to run unattended jobs on your own on serverless, this will be as part of the robot units. You can buy robot units, and based on the machine you use, you will consume of these units.
Okay, perfect. Understood. Thanks.
So I have in here the automation that sits behind the registration form, which is basically navigating to the expense report application and creating your user, typing the username, creating a password and everything. So just to show you the power of Studio and Studio Web integration, you will have the ability to open in desktop any of the projects you create in cloud. But for this, give me a second. Because you need to be connected to the same cloud instance with both. Okay. Now, once I am done, I can do the open. Okay, here, back again. Okay, open Studio. And this will launch Studio Desktop with the same project downloaded. And you have full support in desktop. You can, if you want, you can add this project to source control, and you can use Studio Desktop as a gateway to do whatever you need. You have full control, like workflow analyzer, full compilation, full and advanced debugging. And you can see it's the same project in a familiar experience between both IDEs. And any project, any change you're doing in desktop is gonna be synchronized to web. So you can continue your work from one environment and move to another, from cloud to desktop.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Okay, we have 3 more minutes, so maybe time for one more question.
What would be the benefit of doing that?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
What would be the benefit of doing that? I mean, if you can trigger it, why would you go back and forth? You're trying to do it. Go ahead.
To move from Studio Web to Studio Desktop, you mean?
Correct.
So to run Studio Desktop, you still need a Windows machine. You need to install it to have access to it. While you can run Studio when you're on a run, you can just open your laptop or even your tablet, maybe, and do some small edits or reviewing the code that your colleagues have changed. But when you're developing a very advanced automation, maybe you need to do some troubleshooting and to view the locals panel or to change in the immediate window. And for this type of scenarios, Studio Desktop, it's working better, for now at least.
I get that. I was wondering, are you able to trigger a desktop automation via a cloud automation? I know Microsoft has a similar tool set, and that you can trigger the desktop automation from a cloud flow. Are you able to do that same thing here?
Yeah, you can do that with a start job. Basically, you have the start job activity, and if you have the desktop automation, actually the desktop robot connected to cloud, you can trigger a start job and you can run anything you want or you need.
Thank you.
Sure.
So Alexander, adding on to that, so meaning that if the activities are not available on the cloud and they're available on the desktop version of UiPath, so how when you do upload the automation from desktop UiPath to the cloud UiPath, will you still have those activities available, even though they're not available in the cloud version? Thank you.
So today, the integration I shown you between desktop and cloud, it's working for cross-platform project. So this means if we publish something as cross-platform, it's gonna work on both desktop and web. So you have this transition from one to another ensured by the fact that all the cross-platform activities work in the same way. If you create a Windows project, it's a different story, because in Windows projects, you can, or you might have some activities that require Windows capabilities, and this cannot work on a web infrastructure, for now at least.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
I think we're on top of the hour now, and we're getting ready to wrap up the session. So I will let my colleague share again the links in the chat for the ready-made automation and for the series. So you can register for the upcoming events. And don't forget, you will also get this link in the event description. When you will receive the wrapped up event links tomorrow, you will find all the details necessary there. But just pick it up in case you want to have it ready now. So I will just, okay, the ready to use automation is there. And Sophia, if you can share the link for the series once again in the chat. Okay, we are good. Thank you very much, Alex. It was a beautiful presentation, and thank you all for such great engagement and many questions for today. Thank you also to Magda, Mircea, Raluca, Roxana, and Sophia. It took a great team to make this session happen. But I hope you all enjoyed it and you managed to get the value out of it. UiPath t-shirts are available on our brand store. Okay, thank you everyone, and we will close the session now. Please remember to register for our upcoming sessions. Dev Dives will continue monthly, each month. So next one will be February 23rd. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Be well.